advised.
Views and opinions expressed on the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of alltalkradio.net.
Hey, yo, check this out. This is Flavor Flav, and you are watching Dante's Boxing Nation, baby.
Welcome to Dante's Boxing Nation show here on alltalkradio.net. Now here's your host, Dante.
What's going on, guys? alltalkradio.net, boxingtalk.com, and welcome to the Dante's Boxing Nation show. I am your host, Dante, and we have a great show for you guys, as always. Let me first go ahead and introduce to you guys my guests online right now. We have Arab King in the building.
What's up? What's up?
We also have Eagles World, two of the best boxing YouTube channels out there.
Yo.
And my very special guest, this man put on a sensational performance this past weekend on a Sergey Kovalev versus Bradley-Hopkins fight. He got a sensational knockout over a guy who had never been knocked out before, Luis Abrego, Mr. Sadam World Kid Ali. Welcome to the show, man.
Yes, sir.
That's what
yes,
it is.
Sir. Pleasure to be here.
No doubt, man. Thanks for coming by, man. Well, the first thing I want to ask you, man, is, or I want to first say congratulations one more time. It was a great performance. A lot of people, they thought because of your inexperience, you really had no chance. Was that further motivation for you to put on a great performance, Sadam?
Yeah, for sure. I had a lot of people doubting me, but I've been boxing since I was 8 years old, so experience is definitely there. But I guess they didn't think I had the professional experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been doing this for too long, so I knew I had it. I just had to go in there and perform and then have my A game, and that's what I did.
Yeah. Was it anything that he did that surprised you, or was it anything you did that you think surprised him, like maybe moving around the ring or anything like that?
No, I just stayed aware the whole fight. You know, some people that fought him, you know, they would be winning, but then they would get careless and they'll get knocked out. Abregu is very, very powerful. He definitely has some power, but I stayed away from most of his punches, and that's what you need to do.
Yeah, no, I think you boxed perfect, man. I think it really threw him off, because usually Abregu, it seems like he's the type of person that's confusing his opponents or frustrating them, and it seemed like you frustrated him and then knocked him out. So it was all around a terrific performance. Now, Oscar De La Hoya, he's your promoter. He looked real happy. I've seen some articles where he's pretty much ecstatic. What exactly did he talk to you about afterwards? What did he say to you after the win?
He was just saying, you know, I shocked everybody. I proved a lot of people wrong, which I did, and I knew that's what I had to do. It was time for me to step up. I knew that. Everybody was waiting for me to step up, but they weren't expecting for me to take a fight like that with Abregu, somebody that has the knockout power that he has, that only has one loss, and nobody was able to stop. But I knew if I did take that fight and win and look good, I would get the respect that I deserve.
Absolutely. And was that the first opponent they offered to you, or what? How did that conversation take place?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not the one that picks my fights. You know, I let Golden Boy handle that. So, you know, Golden Boy, my team. So, I mean, they other guys, I'm not sure, but that's the one that that's who HBO really wanted. You know, they wanted to see me in with somebody tough.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you think about the fight, Ego? And you got anything for Sadam?
Yeah, I was just wondering, what is the feedback you've been getting, the fans' response ever since that epic performance?
Well, most of the feedback is great. You know, a lot of people are saying good things to me. But of course, you have a few that still talk bad, that try to throw dirt on Abregu because I did what I had to do in the ring, and he didn't look as good as he usually does. That's only because I fought the right fight.
Exactly.
I made a miss. I threw him off a little bit. That does not. They're discrediting him, which discredits me, which is something they shouldn't do. You know, I stayed away from his power. I have more balance, and that's what you got to do. You know, he's a very dangerous fighter. If you don't do that, eventually in the fight, you're gonna get clipped, which he's done before, and I made sure that wouldn't happen.
Exactly. You can't fight the same way all the time, right, Sadam? You have to be able to adjust to your opponent, right?
Definitely, because one thing about Abregu, he picks up on things. You could do something for 2 rounds, 3 rounds straight. By the 4th round, he's gonna figure you out and he's gonna set you up. So that's why I kept changing things, changing my head movement. I would move a little bit. Sometimes I would even take it to him a little, but then back it back up. So I was switching it up. I tried to keep it confusing for him.
Mm-hmm.
So there was one round, I want to say maybe 6 or 7. It looked like you were starting to fatigue a little bit, maybe got buzzed. Did you ever experience any fatigue, or where you were actually hurt?
I think it was the 7th or the 8th round. I believe he hit me on my left thigh with a right uppercut. If you watch the fight, you'll see it. And I never thought a punch to the thigh would actually really slow me down or hurt me. But honestly, I don't think he did it intentionally. But you know, it happens in boxing, you know. And he called me lovely, and then that kind of slowed me down. But after a while, you know, in a way, but momentarily, it was bothering me. Okay.
That's so fun. You got anything on that, AK?
Yeah, I just want to congratulate Sadam Ali first. You know, that was a great performance. But, you know, as you know, Abrigo was, I think, the #1 contender for Manny Pacquiao belt. So I want to know, are you now the #1 contender for Manny Pacquiao or the 2nd contender?
Honestly, I'm not even sure. You know, so much is going on. I haven't even checked up on that. You know?
Oh, okay. Another question, you know, you came to the fight really light. You know, a lot of people didn't give you credit for this. You know, you came in like, if I'm not mistaken, at 150. And Abrigo, he came into the fight 160 plus. You know, he's a huge welterweight, and you made it look easy by boxing and doing the right thing. So I want to know, can you actually make 140?
Yeah, well, you see, with my weight, I lost it early. You know, early in my career, I lost my weight the wrong way. I waited last minute, and my body wasn't used to being at that weight. But I was at 150 for at least a week and a half or 2 already, so my body was so used to being that low. So when I made my 146, 147, even when I ate, it didn't matter how much I ate. My body was so accustomed to staying at that weight. It stayed around 150, 140, and it stayed there. It wouldn't go up. You know, usually it would boost back up, but the way I did my weight worked out perfectly. Can I make 140? Honestly, I think it's possible. I think I can, but if it really makes sense, I don't know. You know, when I'm fighting, I want to make sure I feel strong. And at 147, I feel strong. How would I feel at 140? I'm not too sure. But if it really makes perfect sense for me, I might go down. I might do it.
So, but it's
yeah. Well,
go ahead, AK. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, you know, a fighter, if I'm not mistaken, you fought in the amateurs, which is Crawford, and I think you beat him. You know, he's having a fight November 29th, and I think he's gonna move up in weight at 140. What do you think about him and the possible fight in the future, you and him?
Well, I'm happy about what Crawford did. You know, because we came out together before. We were cool. So, you know, he's doing some great things. Us fighting, I don't know. I don't know how that would work out. I mean, I leave my fighting. I leave that to Golden Boy. Honestly, I'm not. A lot of people want me to call people out. I mean, that's what gets the hype up. But I'm the type of fighter, man. I let them pick the fight. I take who comes and I win. You know, I train hard. I work hard for the victory, and I make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Hey, so
I let them call me out.
There you go. So speaking of you fighting Crawford, what age did you fight him at, if you remember, and what tournament was it for?
I was maybe 18, turning 19. It was for the Olympic trials.
Oh, nice.
Oh, Olympic trials.
Who else was in your bracket, Sadam?
We had Terrence Crawford. We had damn, what's his name? Gonzalez. What's his name? Was it Emmanuel Gonzalez? I think it was. Damn. I'll forget the names, right?
Obviously, wasn't no real big names then. You're saying, right? Or anyone that's around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Terrence Crawford, and there's another one from Texas. I don't know how I forgot his name. It's some. I can't get it right now. I can't catch it right now. He fought Figueroa and lost to Figueroa, but they were kind of going at it.
He lost to Omar Figueroa? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what it is. I was going to ask you what tournament.
No, that's who the guy fought. That was on my. He was also on the card. Also.
Bill Montes?
Yeah, Bill Montes. There we go.
Oh, okay.
He made it to the semifinals.
Really?
And I had beat him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, a lot of people don't know, man, how impressive it is to actually even go to the Olympics, because that means you were the best in the whole country.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's no joke.
Yeah, my kid.
You got best in the States, and then you got to fight other people from other countries just to make it to the Olympics.
Yeah.
It's a lot you got to do.
Yeah.
Hey, Sadam, I have a question about your Abreu fight also.
All right.
Before the fight, Amir Khan, he had some well wishes for you. So how does that feel, someone in your division wishing you well? What was that like for you?
Yeah, well, Amir Khan, he's a good person, a good friend. He stopped by my gym a few times when he was working, training, and looking for a new coach. It's great. It's great to get that feedback, and that helping somebody that's looking out, you know.
Okay. And I remember in the little pre-fight interview, you were talking about fighters that inspired you, like Naseem Hamed. If you could talk a little bit about that, and was it any other fighters that inspired you when you decided you wanted to be a professional boxer or amateur boxer?
Well, yeah, Prince Naseem, he just made it look fun. You know, the way he came out dancing. You know, he didn't make it look like a fight. It was entertainment as well. And he had power, speed. It was just beautiful. So, you know, that inspired me. And, you know, I looked at it like, if he can do it, why can't I? You know, and that's how a lot of people should look at it.
Mm-hmm.
If you put the time and the hard work in, you can do it as well.
Absolutely. Was it anybody else outside of Naseem that kind of inspired you, or favorite fighters you like to watch?
Well, my last name is Ali, and you know Muhammad Ali is the greatest. And when I'm in the ring, people chant Ali, and the only person that you hear that they do that for is Muhammad Ali. So that's a beautiful feeling. And also, right now, I think the best out there is Mayweather. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so watching him is also something that's inspiring.
Ali Boumaier, I heard that. That's what it is, man. So before we talk about anything else, you guys have any other questions on the fight?
Yeah, I just want to say, you know, when you fought Abreu, you fought, you know, on the was that something that was on? You got older or from your amateur experience? Because the way you knocked him down in the 6th round, it was actually by you moving back, punching off his back foot and pop shotting him. So was that from the amateurs and the Olympic experience?
It's definitely from the amateurs, because I was very, flashy, and I would move around a lot. I would go in and out a lot. As a professional, I slowed that down a little bit because you're more picking your shots here and there. But I also have that. I have that style. So when I have to bring it out, I bring it out. And this is a fight I needed to bring it out.
Yeah. And
okay.
And I remember a previous fight you had, I think it was 2 fights ago. I'm forgetting the guy's name. But he caught you with a shot, and I think that was the first time you actually got knocked down.
Jay Krupp.
Huh?
Jay Krupp.
Jay
Krupp, his name is. And he kind of, I jumped back a little bit, and he, jumped in with a left hook. And at the same time, he kind of, hit my leg. So it was an all-balanced knockdown. I jumped back up. It was nothing. But I did get caught as I was going down.
But you think that made you better, though? Is that what you think, or what? It made you more alert, or what?
What it made me not jump back like that anymore, because people can jump in and catch you, So basically, not to jump back like that. Make sure your feet are planted, and if you're gonna step back, keep your knees bent a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah, and like I said, you got up and you won the fight, so that was impressive.
Yeah, and I got up and dropped him twice, and it was through the fight.
Mhm. There you go.
Yeah, and one last question. What do you think about the main event? Did you expect Kovalev to beat Hopkins like that? And
no.
What's your thought?
I mean, I knew he was a tough fighter, but I know how smart Hopkins is. But I guess things just didn't work out for Hopkins that night. It happens.
Yeah, and
I mean, look how much he's done already. He's made history so many times. He's a living legend. So
yeah,
it's all good.
At age 50, I mean, like I said, it's almost a win-win situation for Bernard Hopkins.
Right.
Now, I know you don't want to call out anyone, Ali, but at the same time, I mean, How do you see a fight playing out if you were to fight somebody like a Manny Pacquiao or someone like that? How do you see that fight possibly playing out?
I gotta be in the greatest condition of my life. I have to be super duper focused. I have to know exactly what I'm doing in the ring, and everything just has to work.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I mean, when you get to that elite level, you just got to make it work. Everything has to be perfect. You have to be 100% prepared mentally, physically, everything.
Mm-hmm. And how do you see that fight playing out between Pacquiao and Algieri?
Well, Algieri, I believe, is going to try to box. Pacquiao at the same time, he's going to come in, but I still see him going in and out too. I think it's going to be a good fight. But if I had to pick somebody, I'm going with Pacquiao.
Okay, so you picking Pacquiao to win. It won't be no upset. I heard that. Now, we also have...
Yeah, but Algieri shocked a lot of people already.
Yeah, no, he definitely did against Provodnikov. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yep. Let's see what happens now.
Mm-hmm. Now, we also, if you could, stick around and talk a little boxing with us, Saddam. Adonis Stevenson, this is a little breaking news. Basically, his promoter reported that Adonis called him 2 o'clock in the morning the night of the fight, and he said, look, man, I don't know about all the politics in boxing, but I want Kovalev in the ring. Now, I want to ask Ego, does that surprise you? You think that fight would happen, Ego? Adonis versus Kovalev?
I mean, I don't know if it will happen just because it's boxing, but with Bernard Hopkins taking that step over to HBO, I think that was big. He kind of paved the way and showed people it can be done. Different promoters and different networks can coincide. They also have the December 13th, Mauricio Herrera, a Golden Boy fighter, is going to be fighting on a top-ranked card. So I think it's possible. I still think Adonis ducked Kovalev initially, but if he's trying to make it right, it's still a good fight. It's still a sweet fight, a fight that needs to happen. So, I mean, I'm not going to complain too much and drudge up what didn't happen as long as it does happen.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, Saddam, I'm assuming you probably follow that division. How do you think a fight like that will play out? You think Kovalev is the man to beat? Is he the best at 175? How do you see Stevenson fighting Kovalev?
Well, he beat the alien, so we got to give him credit right now. Stevenson's a great fighter as well. I don't know how that turns out. Honestly, I can't really judge that fight.
Mm-hmm.
So Stevenson is he got some power, but he's also in and out, and he's good with his defense here and there moving. So, I mean, it would be a good one, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead, AK.
I got one more question for Sadam Ali. Your fight with Rodriguez was the first fight between the Gold Boy, fighter and a top-ranked fighter, in like 3 years. It's basically what broke the Cold War or the Phony War, whatever you want to call it. So will we see more fights like those between Golden Boy and Top Rank?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I'm glad to be the first one to break it, and I think promoters should work together. I mean, why not? It's better for the fans. It's better for the fighters. They get better fights. It's a beautiful thing. So I say yeah.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Top Rank and Golden Boy working together, they right now they're trying to make the Cotto versus Canelo fight. Saddam, how do you see that fight playing out, man? That'll be a terrific fight.
Yeah, that's an interesting fight. That's a good one.
Yeah. You think do you lean towards anyone in that fight? Because me personally, I'm thinking.
Me and Canelo are on the same team, Golden Boy, but honestly, that's gonna be a great fight. Both of those guys are great fighters, and they kind of got similar styles a little bit. So I mean, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. And what you saying, you've been on the same team or on the same, you're pretty much on the same team with Canelo. Have you met him? Have you guys worked together or anything or what?
We've been in the same room, press conference, stuff like that, but we never really met.
Okay, that's what it is, man. Well, if anyone else has any questions for Dom, I'm gonna go ahead and let him go. And But I want to first say thanks for doing the show with us, Sadam. And you got anything else you want to say to the fans, man? You want to give out your social medias?
This is my pleasure. Thanks for having me. And also, I want to thank for everybody who's been supporting me. I want to thank all my fans, my friends, my family. Also, the new watchers, the new fans, the people that didn't know about me that are watching me now. You know, I hope that they're people that would continue to watch me now. You know, that's what I hope. Thank you.
That's what it is, man. Thank you once again for your time, man. We'll have you back on the show before your next fight or after, man. All right? Take care, bro.
My pleasure. Take care.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care, Sadam.
All right.
That was the undefeated top contender, Sadam Ali, and Arab King's cousin. So, you know, we keeping the family tied up in here. That's what it is.
Well, let's talk about Bernard Hopkins and Kovalev's performance.
There you go.
Think of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there you go. How could I forget about the main topic? You know, we talking with Sadam about it. Well, let me first off just say, man, I was impressed with Kovalev. I mean, you know, it's unfortunate that it's win-lose almost for Kovalev because, yeah, he looked impressive, but, yeah, he was fighting a 50-year-old man. He was fighting against a fighter that was almost the same age as his trainer. So, you know, unfortunately, you can't get all of the credit. I mean, it kind of reminds me of when Ali fought against Larry Holmes or Trevor Berbick. You know, it was somewhat of a farewell fight for Bernard Hopkins. You know, it was win-win for Bernard Hopkins. If he lost, you know, he was 50 years old. If he won, it was unbelievable. You know, so he's already done so much. Like I was saying before, I was impressed though with Kovalev that he didn't go in there like a dumb boxer. And that, you know, I'm now convinced that I believe Kovalev is a better boxer than Gennady Golovkin. He can adjust better than a Golovkin, which I didn't think before. But like I said, it was really, really effective how he was putting all that pressure on Bernard Hopkins. And then as soon as Bernard Hopkins was ready to counter, Kovalev would take a huge jump back, and he would be out of, you know, he wouldn't be anywhere around. He'd be like the ghost, basically. And, you know, Hopkins is used to trying to, you know, attack you with his head down. Usually that works because it's always, you know, coaches always teach you to keep your chin down, you know. But the thing is, he was doing that with Kovalev, and Kovalev, he had the perfect strategy for it, or the perfect counterattack, which is just to back up and catch him with a perfect check hook right on top of his head when he put his head down. Another thing, too, is when Floyd Mayweather, say, for example, Floyd Mayweather or Guillermo Rigo and Andre Ward, usually when they put you in a position to where they're ready to counter you, they're looking at you. They're never in a position where they don't see what's going on. Bernard Hopkins, he puts his head down to where sometimes he can't even see what's going on. And like I said, Kovalev, he took advantage of that. Showed a lot of speed. Another thing, too, I noticed is he looked a lot bigger. The first thing I noticed when I was watching it, I was like, wow. You know, Hopkins, he looks a lot more skinnier. You know, he looks a lot more thinner than Kovalev does. So, you know, Kovalev looked really wide. He was really long, rangy, tall, and strong. And he used all of his attributes, you know. So congrats to Kovalev. But, you know, I still want to see what he does against his contemporaries, you know, some guys on his same level, you know. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, well, you know, congratulations to Kovalev, of course, you know, and also congratulations to Ego because he had the prediction on the dot. He predicted, you know, Kovalev winning by 12, you know, by unanimous decision. And that's exactly what he did. Because a lot of people thought, you know, if Kovalev's going to win, it's going to be by a knockout. So that was right on the dot. But anyway, you know, what impressed me the most about Kovalev was his ability. You know, he just had skill, not just power. And the power is what dictated the terms for him. He dictated the term during the fight, fought when he wanted because of his power. He made Hopkins, you know, be worried a lot because of his power. And, you know, in the first round, I remember when Hopkins trying to, I think, throw a jab. You know, he normally throws a jab and then clinch you or smother your work by falling into you. What Kovalev did, he stepped back when Hopkins was trying to step in to Kovalev and smother him. So, you know, that created an opening for Kovalev, you know, a right hand, and, you know, you create distance, and he caught him with the right hand, and put him down. And from that point on, I knew Hopkins didn't have a chance to win against Kovalev that night because, I mean, he just had the right strategies. And, you know, that's also credit to Kovalev trainer. So, you know, he really impressed me that, you know, on last Saturday night.
Yeah. Yeah, it was impressive. Go ahead, Ego.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with everybody. And I think, truthfully, for me, I think Kovalev fought the exact opposite of Ruslan Provodnikov versus Chris Algieri. And being a big puncher is almost a gift and a curse to me because some people, they just solely rely on that. I think Ruslan Provodnikov against Algieri, he did that. He had him hurt bad in the first round, and it was like he was chasing Algieri the whole time, but not effectively. He wasn't doing the right things. Kovalev did the opposite of that because Kovalev had Hopkins like knocked down or hurt or whatever you want to say in the first round as well. But it's what he did after. He didn't get overexcited and like try to pile it up on him and make stupid mistakes. So, you know what I mean? Like you guys said, he fought a good game plan, and I'm anxious to see what happens next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
so I got a question. So do y'all think with this performance that, you know, Kovalev had, do y'all pick him over Stevenson at this point, of course? Like, if they fight, will y'all pick Kovalev?
Go ahead, Ego. You can answer it first.
I mean, I've always leaned towards Kovalev, but, I mean, it's not a walk in the park. I think it's a totally different fight than the fight with Bernard Hopkins because, like Dante just said, Bernard Hopkins, I'm not even making excuses, but because I picked the right guy to win, but Hopkins is like almost 50. He's a 50-year-old man, and he hasn't had a knockout in 10 years. Adonis Stevenson doesn't have that problem. He's younger. He has one-punch, like, debilitating power. So I think it's a totally different fight. I would lean towards Kovalev because I think the Fonfara fight with Stevenson, he got knocked down and looked a little bit shaky. So Kovalev looks a little bit more indestructible, but it's not a walk in the park. It's still interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, they both, at this point, both of their stamina is questionable, you know, because Stevenson last fight, you know, he got tired as the fight went on. And Kovalev, you know, he went 12 rounds with Hopkins, but they were slow paced. You know, it's not like he fought every minute of them rounds. You know, he fought at his terms. He threw when he wanted to. But at the same time, you know, like you said, you know, they both have a lot of power. And, you know, of course, he's not 50 years old like Hopkins. You know, Hopkins, he's still a 50 years old man, but, you know, he does have a good chin. That's why he went 12 rounds with Kovalev. And, you know, at this point, I'm picking Kovalev because Stevenson, he likes to look for that, you know, that last hand home run too much. He don't use both hands. And, you know, at this point, I think I'm leaning towards Kovalev because of the power. But I also heard that Stevenson might fight Pascal. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
See, another thing that if Adonis Stevenson that fought Tavoris Cloud shows up, that's a hell of a fight because he looked real slick in there. He looked good. He had good speed. The Fonfara, he didn't look the same. Like that version of Adonis Stevenson, Kovalev will for sure beat, in my opinion. But if he looked as sharp as he did against Tavoris Cloud, then we have a definite fight. That's because he looked pretty good in that fight. He looked slick too.
Yeah, and you know another thing, you know, speaking of the Adonis Stevenson fight, the thing with Adonis, just like AK just pointed out, is Adonis is left hand crazy. You know, but if he lands it, just like Manny Pacquiao, you're gonna feel it, and you might even get knocked out. So I think he has the same power that Kovalev has. He probably even has the same natural size because, like I said, Bernard Hopkins, by way of contrast, he was smaller and he was older. He didn't have the power, and we know he doesn't do well against boxers. If Adonis was using both hands, I think that it would be, you know, a 50-50 fight, or I might even lean towards Adonis. But because Adonis, he relies so much on that left hand, he leaves himself open. That's how he got in trouble against Fonfara because he was dominating Fonfara, but every time he hurt him, he just kept throwing the same punch over and over again. If he would have started using his right hand, I think he would have knocked out Fonfara before Fonfara figured him out and ended up hurting him. You know, but I give Adonis a lot of credit in that fight because he got hurt and he was gassed. He was completely gassed. I don't know how he got a second win to come back and take control of that fight. So I give him a lot of credit for that. He was a little exposed in that fight, like Ego said, but at the same time, I still believe that Kovalev, he was exposed in the fight against Caparello. So what's the go ahead.
No, I was going to say that, also Stevenson, his chin also is questionable at this point. I don't know, I don't know if he could take a Kovalev punch, but I think if you ask me, between the two, Kovalev and Stevenson, I would say Kovalev has a way better chin than a Stevenson, and because both of them are punchers, I'm thinking, if Stevenson catch Kovalev, he might take it, but if Kovalev hits Stevenson, I think he's going down.
Yeah,
that's why I'm leaning actually towards Kovalev.
I agree with you on that. I totally agree with you on that. I mean, Stevenson, he's already been knocked out before, so he definitely has a better chin. But
he did avenge that. He avenged that stoppage.
He avenged it. Matter of
fact,
and
if you
go ahead.
Yeah. When Stevenson get caught, he's like a reflect fighter. After 5 rounds, once he gets tired, once you catch him clean with the full punch. You don't partially block the punch. So when you get hit clean by somebody like Kovalev, and you don't have the best chin in the world, it ain't gonna be an easy night. No. And that's something that Stevenson need to work on too, because he's a reflex fighter and he gets tired quick. And because of that, and Kovalev is a huge puncher, so if Kovalev cuts him clean, which he probably will, he's going down. So he actually has to almost knock Stevenson out to knock Kovalev out before the 5th round, before he can start getting tired and getting caught himself.
Absolutely. We all agree that I think we all are leaning towards Kovalev, but it would still be a very tough fight for Kovalev. I don't think he's really dealt with a guy with this type of boxing ability combined with the natural size and the power. So that's going to be the difference, as opposed to other opponents that Sergey has been in the ring with. Huh?
Dante, you brought up a real good point with the Stevenson versus Pacquiao comparison.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely seen that where he gets left hand crazy.
Yeah.
So taking Adonis out of the picture, what about, I think the fans want to know about Sergey Kovalev versus Andre Ward. How do you make that if Ward would come up there?
Man, come on, man. Man, this is my thing. Andre Ward, he ain't lost a fight since he was 12 years old. This man will figure out a way to win no matter what, as far as I'm concerned. He can adjust. If anyone is looking at Andre Ward like Bernard Hopkins, you can forget about it. Because Andre Ward, he'll get on the inside, and he'll smother someone like a Kovalev. And next thing you know, I think he'll be backing up someone like a Kovalev, because he's done that with a lot of power punchers. I think Carl Froch, that's the comparison I think of when I think of Ward versus Kovalev. I think of Ward versus Carl Froch, because they're both long. They both can box, as we've seen in the Kovalev-Hopkins fight. And I think Andre Ward, he can adjust so well. And I think he would outbox and maybe even hurt Kovalev, maybe even be the first person to hurt Kovalev. The only chance Kovalev really has is that natural size. We don't really know how comfortable Andre Ward is with moving up to 175. That's the only question. But I'm going with Andre Ward all day on that one, though.
Yeah, Ward fought at light heavy in the amateurs. That's where he got his gold medal. So
good point. Very good point.
Light heavy.
So we know he can go up to.
Yeah, he can do the weight. It's just a matter of if he wants to. Like I said, there's a couple fights I would be willing to see Ward if he wants to stick around 68. Like I want to see him fight a Darrell brother or something.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's not going to make one of those big time fights, then I think 75 would be a good look. Not saying he has to fight Kovalev the first fight there, but move up. I wouldn't be opposed to that fight. That's a big fight to me.
Hey, John Pascal too. I like to see John Pascal versus Kovalev too. I think that would be another good fight.
Yeah.
So.
And see, John Pascal actually responded to him on Twitter.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
okay.
Pascal sent out a tweet, and he basically said, "Good job, Kovalev's the king of the division," and he says he's the cash cow of the division. Make it happen.
No, he said referring to himself. He said he's the cash cow.
Yeah, he said he's the cash cow.
Yeah. Hey, imagine how big that would be in Montreal, Canada, man. That would be huge. So
I would love that.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, well,
Go ahead, EK.
That'll make Adonis Stevenson look bad if all these other people are fighting him, fighting Kovalev before him.
It would. But like I said, and I didn't really clarify exactly what I was saying earlier when I said I had just read the article on BoxingScene.com where Adonis, like I said, he said that I don't know about the politics, but make the fight. The promoter basically said that Adonis, he already has a fight coming up. You know, I guess it's in a couple weeks from now. But they said after that, John Pascal is the mandatory for Adonis Stevenson's belt. And they said if John Pascal passes on that fight, then they want Kovalev. That's what the news was. And I don't think Pascal and Adonis is going to fight because, for one, they're both Haitian. You know, they're both from Haiti, and I think they have a little bit, you know, of a bond, you know, right there. So I don't think they're going to fight against each other. I remember a while ago one of the reporters had asked Adonis, "What about you fighting John Pascal?" And his only response was, "Shots out to my man John Pascal." You know, so that's like the Cubans. You know, we know the Cubans. You know, they made a pact. They're not fighting against each other. I think it'll be the same thing with them. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. So we'll see, man. Yeah. We will see.
Yeah, well,
go ahead.
You know, when you know about the Andre Ward versus Kovalev, man, that's a great fight. And now when once Andre fights him, and let's say he beats him, now the fans can say Kovalev, you know, he didn't be a nobody.
Mm-hmm.
They got to give Andre Ward his props if he does win, you know, the fight versus Kovalev. And like Ego said, I would like to see Andre Ward, if he's going to stick on 168 to fight the Durrell brothers or Golovkin once he move up. And if he wants a Chavez fight, you know, of course, everybody wants him. And then moves up and fight Kovalev at 175 because, I mean, the future looked bright for Andre Ward because at 175 you got Pascal, you got Stevenson, you got Kovalev. There's a lot of big fights for him in the future. You know, he just need to start being active and all that. But at the same time, and I heard a lot of people say, you know, after seeing what Kovalev did to Hopkins, they feel like Kovalev will do the same to Andre Ward, which is funny to me because, in my opinion, Andre Ward is a better fighter than Hopkins.
It's not opinion. It's a fact. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, just look what Donson did to Hopkins, and look what Andre Ward did to Donson. And at the same time, you know, this, like you said, he haven't lost a fight since he was 12 years old, so he don't know how to lose. No. All he knows is how to win and how to adjust. And his skill, you know, Kovalev is skilled, but Andre Ward, his skill is just on another level. And he's, people, you know, Andre Ward is not the biggest guy in the world, but he's definitely bigger than Hopkins and has a better punch.
Yeah.
You know, even though he's at 168 still, but once he move up, you know, he's going to be the nationally bigger guy because he started at a bigger weight than Hopkins.
Yeah.
Hey, and just to add to what you said real quick, I think a lot of fans, and I picked the right person, so I have no shame in saying this, but people don't know who a fighter is, and then they have one performance, and all of a sudden they start saying he'll beat X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Like Kovalev is coming off a sensational win, but everything's not easy work because he won that particular fight. Like, some people don't take that into consideration. They just, anytime someone wins, they'll beat everybody. And I don't view the fight game like that. I don't think Kovalev will easily beat everybody. He could beat everybody. You have to look at it. Styles make fights. There's different variables, so consider that.
And I think any fighter, that lacks defense is obviously beatable. I mean, Kovalev still lacks defense. No doubt about it. He adjusted very well, and you got to give credit to his trainer for that because he did adjust very well against Bernard Hopkins. But in the process, you know, he was still dealing with someone that was very, very reluctant in the ring. Bernard Hopkins, being 50 years old, being smaller, you know, knowing that he was being outpowered, you know, he was basically reluctant in there. So, like I said, you get someone like an Andre Ward, he's not going to be as reluctant. I don't believe he will be. And I would love to see that fight. I really think that he should. I think Andre Ward should take that fight, especially since Eagle just reminded me that Andre Ward won, a gold medal at light heavy. So I think if he can't get the fight with Golovkin, which we know Golovkin doesn't want the fight, the smartest thing to do would be to take that fight against Kovalev. You know, and once you take that fight against Kovalev, what are people going to say? Because you know everybody keeps saying, oh, leave Golovkin alone and go fight Kovalev instead. So what if Andre Ward ends up fighting this guy? You know, so I think he should fight him and then come back down to 168 if you know, he feels comfortable doing it. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, and also, you know, I also want to add, you know, I would love to see a fight between Kovalev and Savagin, the new
who?
He's a Cuban fighter. He's Savagin. He's a Cuban fighter. He's really talented. And that fight will, you know, to me that fight's 50-50 because I know what Savagin could do. Or that Russian fighter, I think I saw him on Egosworld, or I don't know where I saw him at. That one. Yeah, I saw him on. I didn't really see. Yeah, I only saw highlights of him, but I haven't seen none of his fights. I saw you report him. You know, you gave your opinion about it when he knocked out Cloud, and you know, I would love to see that fight. So there's a lot of fights out there.
He beat Kovalev.
He beat Kovalev in the amateurs.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, beat Kovalev in the amateurs, so he can.
Yeah, he also beat somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like I said, once we see Kovalev in the ring with guys that are around the same age as him, has around the same skills, around the same record as him, then we will really know how good he is, right? So, and also somebody sent me a message, said that Gigi knocked Kovalev down in sparring. Did you guys hear about that?
I heard that too.
Yeah.
Well, I heard, you know, his trainer, Golovkin trainer, he was kind of bragging about Golovkin. He said that when he was sparring Kovalev was fighting scared. You know, he was fighting off the back foot. You know, he was being reluctant. So I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what Golovkin trainer said. You know, so I don't know.
No, that wouldn't surprise me because most of the time
but he also says, Golovkin trainer, he also said that Golovkin is willing to fight anybody from 154 to 175, and that's also not true.
Yeah,
so I don't know if I believe him or not.
Once you start lying, we don't know what to really believe after that, right? Yeah, they need to stop. And see, once again, man, when it comes to the fans, if you guys don't want your guy to fight Andre Ward, then please tell Golovkin's trainer to stop saying we'll fight anybody, all right? Tell Golovkin to stop saying I'll fight anybody. Just say I will fight everybody except for this guy, that guy, oh yeah, and that guy. Right? Stop doing that. You know, because you're making the fans look bad because they have to contradict themselves. And you're making Golovkin look bad, you know, when the trainer keeps saying all that kind of stuff. So another thing that trainer is saying is he believes, and Oscar De La Hoya said the same thing. They believe that Canelo wants to fight Gigi. I just seen you know, an article where Gigi's trainer, he said Canelo will fight Gigi, but Cotto, he will never fight Gigi. Yeah, you know, so I mean, do you guys really think that Canelo would get in the ring with Gigi?
No.
All right, go ahead, Ego. Go ahead.
I mean, anyone can say they want to fight. It's just a matter of like making it happen. And he did that with Edison Laura. Laura embarrassed him, jumped up stage, and then, you know what I'm saying, he reached for it, and Golden Boy didn't want to fight, and he made it happen. So, I mean, I don't want to call the guys bluff, but I don't think really smaller dudes, like guys in lower divisions, are looking to move up to face Triple G personally. But
yeah,
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I don't think he want to fight Golovkin, man. Because I mean, if he does, you know, I would give him a lot of props for that, but at the same time, I just can't see it happen. And I think Oscar, we already know he's just trying to promote, you know, his fight at Canelo, and you know, he's talking the goods about him, and that's all, in my opinion. I mean, I don't see Cotto or Canelo stepping in the ring against Golovkin. But I want to get your opinion on the Gamboa fight. I think it's going to be this week. He fighting in Mexico. What y'all think about that?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. I don't even, you know too much about his opponent. I just know he has a losing record. This is really just a fight for Gamboa to come back, you know, get back in the winning column. But, you know, I'm just happy to see him come back. I mean, he was fighting against Terrence Crawford. I mean, that's almost like losing to Floyd Mayweather. Not saying Terrence Crawford is Floyd, but you know what I mean. I mean, he lost against a terrific, very talented fighter who's possibly the future pound-for-pound champ. Just real quick, I was watching a Bradley interview the other day, and Bradley was just praising this man, praise after praise, because Bradley sparred with Terrence Crawford, and he said, man, this dude is the next pound-for-pound champion. You know, he could switch, you know, from southpaw, conventional, fight on the inside, fight on the outside. He can box. He can do all the stuff in the ring. And then we even seen him get clipped in the Gamboa fight and came back and still impressed. So, but going back to Gamboa, like I said, yeah, you can't really, you know, you can't knock him that much for losing to a great talent like Terrence Crawford. I think he's going to come back strong. I think he's going to look just like the undefeated Gamboa. He's going to blow this guy out the water, and then somebody else, hopefully he can trick someone else to thinking that he's washed up and getting in the ring with him like a Mikey Garcia. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm hoping I see. What you think, Ego?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, like physically, I heard he's dropping down a weight. I don't know exactly what weight his fight is at. It's just a psychological. If he can get over the psychological hump of getting knocked down 4 times, then I think he'll be good. He's still athletic. And if you watch the Crawford fight, which is my current fight of the year, out of all the fights that I have this year, that was my favorite, because there's other great fights, Lucas Matisse and John Molina, but I love seeing action plus skill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was a great mix of that. It wasn't just like slugging until someone dies. It was a good mix of skill. And Gamboa, truth be told, he looked real good, and he was, I thought, dominating the first half of the fight.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Surprised me.
I thought he was up on the scorecards, and I didn't really give Crawford many of the early rounds, and that's why I was really impressed with Crawford, because he was able to dig himself a hole, deal with adversity, and come back. So it's all about him psychologically, to me, if he can bounce back.
Absolutely. And before we run out of time, I also want to ask, did any of you guys catch the Amir Mansour versus Fred Cassie fight?
No,
it wasn't televised, so it's hard to catch.
Huh? What'd you say, K?
It wasn't televised.
No, it was televised. It was on NBC. Yeah, it was on NBC.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, it was a good fight, man. I'm sure you guys already know Amir Khan's reputation. He's basically a Mike Tyson in the ring. Not saying he's as good, but he's somewhat of a Mike Tyson, man. He knocked the guy out. I forgot which round now. I think it was round 7 or round 9, but he knocked him out. The dude was slick. He was fighting against some guy that was a little slick, kind of on the defensive side. And yeah, man, he caught him with a beautiful. It was like a left hook, right uppercut type combination, and slept the dude. They had to bring out the stretcher. Dude fell face first, wasn't moving at all. You know, so dude is a beast, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's a beast, and I really can't wait to see these heavyweights mix it up, because you got Amir Khan, who's like a Mike Tyson. You got Andy Ruiz, who's, you know, like a speed, aggressive, you know, type of fighter.
You said Amir Khan.
Did I say Amir Khan? I knew it was going to happen eventually. Amir Mansour. Yeah.
Before someone leaves a crazy comment, you said Khan.
Yeah. Oh boy. You know the YTBC gang way too well, don't you? Oh man, he said Amir Khan.
He said Amir Khan.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
we gonna hear about this for 2 years now. Go ahead.
One question though.
Go ahead.
One question. I just want to check. So, is the Charlo versus Andre official or not? Like, I keep hearing people talk about it like it's official. I see Showtime, you know, putting, you know, they put the whole card out and the 2 names still in there. So, is it official or not? Because I don't know.
I think it is, because Dan Rayfield reported on ESPN. They reported that it was, and everything I've heard, they're promoting it like it is. The only conflict that I heard was on Carcino's channel when he did the interview with Demetrius Andrade, and he sounded like nothing's a done deal. So I think it's on, from what I heard.
Yeah, and just for the record, I actually called up Demetrius Andrade's father, Paul Andrade, got to talk to him for a second, and I was just asking him, you know, his thoughts on the fight, and he just said, I don't know. And that was really all. And then we started talking about some other stuff. He was talking about getting sparring for his son. But, that's the whole thing. It is official on paper, but for some reason, we haven't really heard Demetrius Andrade say anything about it. Like, I've even watched some of his recent posts on, I think it was Twitter or something like one of those social medias, and he was, he had a little clip of him training, and really it just said training, getting ready or whatever, but it didn't say anything about Charlo. So it seems like everyone else believes that this fight is official. I mean, I don't know exactly what Demetrius Andrade's thoughts are, but if you're watching, champ, go ahead and give us a call and let us know what's going on so we could make it official, at least from your side of the stance. Okay, so we got 1 minute left, we got 2 minutes left, and one more thing I also want to talk about is that you guys noted that Bradley, he also said that he wants to fight Canelo as well. See, this is my thing real quick. Bradley, you have a smaller fighter who doesn't really have that much power. He's willing to fight bigger guys with power. I mean, what does that say about some of these fighters that aren't willing to move up? And they are power punchers. They're power punchers, and they don't want to move up in weight. But you have a guy like Tim Bradley, who's willing to move up and fight against a guy way stronger than him. What do you think about something like that, Ego?
I think Bradley's amazing. You know what I mean? And people that don't give him credit, I can't see how you're a true boxing fan. I'm not saying you have to like his style, but to not give him credit for the things he's done. His resume is deep. He battled adversity versus Ruslan. He was willing to fight Cotto after Cotto annihilated Sergio Martinez, but the fight fell through. So, I mean, I like his guts. I like he has cojones. He's real. He's just a man's man type, and he's skilled too. So I like Bradley a lot. And it's a bad look, just like Bernard Hopkins fighting at 50 years old, fighting Kovalev. It's a bad look for those people that aren't doing those things, who aren't calling out people in their division, who aren't willing to make the fights with other champions and things like that. So props to Bradley and Peacock.
Absolutely. Well said, Ego. Go ahead. 1 minute left.
He also...
Go ahead.
Yeah, he also wanted to fight Cotto after Cotto beat Sergio.
Yeah.
So all you can do is give, Bradley his credit that he deserves, and because he always want to fight the best, and I still want him to stick at 147. I don't think 154 is the right weight for him, especially he don't have that much power. So I think he should stay at 147. There's big fights out there for him, but like I said, all you can do is just give the man his props.
Absolutely, give him his props, and we are pretty much pretty much out of time. So I want to say once again, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks to my guest, Egosworld, a.k.a. Arab King, and your man Dante's Boxing Nation. We will see you guys next week. AllTalkRadio.net, Tuesday, 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I'm on to the next one, y'all.